Hey everybody, John McClellan here, ATX Hot Sauce, atxhotsauce.com. Subscribe below if you like these videos. Hope you've seen some of their other videos. Want to give a big shout out to all of our subscribers. Hit 17,000 not too long ago, over 1 million views on the channel. Thank you for all your interaction, comments, and likes. Today I'm making a simple recipe, and one that's been requested for a while. It's our Blueberry Habanero. It's one of the most simple fermentations you can do. I get a lot of questions about can you use frozen fruits or vegetables? Yes is the answer, as long as you're also using fresh fruits and vegetables to go along with it, because you want that good bacteria to still be alive. It's probably dead on the frozen stuff. So we've got very fresh habaneros and frozen blueberries. We're also going to add some ancho chili to it and a little bit of onion. I've taken 1 small onion here. So let's take a look and let's do this. All right, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to chop up these habaneros, fresh habaneros. You got to be careful with habaneros. There's some super hots out there. They tend to have a lot of pockets inside of them. And the worst thing you can do is actually add a whole habanero to a fermentation. What happens is the air gases get caught inside of it and can promote mold on it. And you want to make sure that brine gets everywhere. So a real good chop on the habaneros is always best. I just do them into quarters. Make sure you wear gloves for this too. Your partner will say thank you. So make sure they can get that brine and all those, and we'll be dumping that into the 1-gallon jar that we're going to be using today. So let me get these all chopped up and we'll be right back. All right, we've got the habaneros in there. Make sure you stick your hand in there, get them all squished down. Another good reason to wear gloves. I'm going to get it down there and smash as good as you can. Then we're going to add the blueberries on top of that. Frozen blueberries. You know, when we were making this for our retail site, we use these big, I don't know if you can see them, but we have these big 5 to 7 gallon buckets back here, fermentation buckets that help us get all these bigger fermentations going. This is only a gallon jar that we're using right now. Get all these fresh blueberries, or frozen blueberries in here. Fresh frozen maybe. Get that in there, make sure they're all squished down on there. We're going to add our ancho chilies onto the top. Ancho chili. Then I like to cut the onion into little circles like this, and we use that. Kind of keep all the vegetables down below the brine. I'll show you how to make the brine in just a second. Put that in there. Put this one right here. Then I got these press plates. We have bigger ones we use for our big buckets. But this goes right on top here. What it does, if that lid comes down, it'll hold all those vegetables down below inside the brine. All right? So, how do you make the brine, you ask? Well, stay tuned, I'm going to show you how to do that. All right, simple way to do brine. The best way to do is measure it in liters. I have 3 liters of water here. So for 3 liters, that's 3,000 grams of water. 3,000 grams is 3 liters of water weight. So I want to add in 3.5% brine. So what does that come out to? Well, 3.5 of, and times 3 is 105 grams of salt. I like to use kosher salt. This diamond crystal actually dissolves the best. I like it the best. So we're going to put 105 grams of salt in this 3 liter of water, which give us a 3.5%. Come on now. Doesn't have to be exact. There we go. How about 106? That's close enough to 105, right, for salt. We're going to give this a stir, let it get dissolved, and we're going to put it in the jar. While we're waiting for that salt to dissolve inside this water to make a 3.5% brine, I'm going to show you these press plates that we use for our big fermentation buckets. As you can see, it's too big for this jar, but what this does, this adjustable thing right here, it allows you to either make it so it goes down deeper or shallower. And we put that on top of the buckets, and the lid sits on that, and it holds all the fruits and vegetables down below the brine. And the reason that's so important is that you don't want any mold growth. Any of the vegetables that are sticking up above the brine, that's going to promote mold, right? So you want to make sure you keep it way down in there and have this press plate, you can use a regular plate from home. Don't use a plastic plate. The acidity can actually break that down. When I get a good porcelain or glass plate if you're using that to weigh things down. This is what our preferred method is right here, though. Pretty cool little trick. All right, I think the salt's dissolved enough. Now you want to get it into the container here. So one of the things you got to be careful about, you got to fill this up almost to the rim But remember, we've squashed down all those fruits and vegetables, so there's a lot of air pockets in there. So one of the things we want to make sure it does is we get all those air pockets in there, so if after it sits for a while, that water level, brine level, doesn't decrease. So I'm going to fill it up to about right here, and then I'm going to kind of turn it around. You can see all those air bubbles coming up. Tell you what, when we make this sauce, the color, the deep purple color, then the smell with the blueberries and the habaneros, it's actually a wonderful smell. All right, just make sure we get all that. That looks pretty good. We're going to put this press plate in here to hold it down. See how that works? After you put that lid on, squishes everything down and keeps it in there. All right, we've got a lid here. We're going to put that on. A little airlock we're going to add to it here in just a second. All right, then we've got an airlock, and the way this works is as the fermentation's going, it's going to release gases, and we want all that oxygen to be pushed out of the jar and replaced with carbon dioxide. And what this does is allow for air to come out, but not come back in. And a couple things you can use for a medium in here. You need some kind of liquid to keep that airlock going. We like to use a little bit of vodka. So let me grab some vodka. Probably don't want to go for the more expensive vodka, probably just the cheap vodka. We're going to put that in here. All right, don't want to fill it all the way up, just about 40%. Get that on here. Now we're going to get it labeled with the date on it, and we're going to come back in 2 months and make a sauce out of this. Tell you what, Blueberry Habanero, it's fantastic. If you have a recipe like this, post below. I want to hear your thoughts on this one. Also hear about yours. Hey, thanks for watching the video. Make sure you subscribe below and check out our website at ATX Hot Sauce. That's atxhotsauce.com.